Hey guys, Alex and Dad from 7th Hour Films back again with Doctor Who. Last time around we had The Runaway Bride. What was that one about?
Well, it introduced us to Donna... What's her last name?
Noble.
Donna Noble. She apparently was alien abducted out of her own wedding and accidentally got aboard the TARDIS because of some kind of particle inside her. And it turns out that the reason she was kidnapped is some species that had bored into the Earth billions of years ago, literally at the beginning, and the Earth formed around it. And some spider queen needed her to liberate all the rest of her kind, and her husband-to-be was actually in league with the spider queen, and they managed to blow open a hole in the subterranean lair and drain the Thames. And it was a great introduction. Got to see the TARDIS fly down the highway. So it was fun, and she has got a mouth on her. I mean, she is completely different from anybody else I think that we've ever seen. I don't think anyone's ever been able to talk back to the Doctor like that.
No. There is a kind of joke, but a wish that maybe someday we'll get like an audio drama of Donna and the Ninth Doctor, because nothing would be accomplished, and they would just bicker at each other the whole time. So, which is why she's a good match for the 10th Doctor, who, you know, she can give a slap to, and then that's just the end of that. So, but yeah, and last week we also did watch the first episode of Torchwood. We're not going to recap that here, but we did watch that. In a couple weeks we'll watch the second episode. I know we've got a whole thing jumping around to different episodes, but we are going to watch episode 2 because it's a rather infamous episode of Torchwood. But we'll get to that when we get to that. I'll tell you when we do that. But yeah, we are starting off season 3 of Modern Doctor Who this episode. Yeah, I guess.
So, Runaway Bride was the Christmas special?
Yes.
Oh, all right.
Yeah. It didn't feel much like a Christmas special. It's just the thing that it happened to take place at Christmas, basically, is all they said. Other than that, it really wasn't very Christmassy at all. So, but yeah, that's pretty much it going into the next season. I mean, we had the Doctor take off at the end of last episode. He's on his own again, so who knows what could happen. Except me and you. And so we all know what will happen.
Well, we assume Donna's coming back in some way, shape, or form. Has there ever been really just a one-off episode for a companion? You know, I mean, we had Sarah Kingdom, who was in a couple, but I mean, just a simple one-off episode and never saw them again.
They'll start doing that more later down the line, where it's just the Doctor meets someone and they're just gone by the end of the episode, basically. So, but we'll start doing that more down the line. Yeah. So, but yeah, I guess the only other thing to say is it's the first episode of the season. The full length is available for free. If you don't know what I'm talking about, I don't know how. I don't know how. We've been doing this for nearly 30 seasons now, but the full length is available on the first episode for free. You can go watch it. There'll be a count-in, a 3, 2, 1. That's when you start the episode. We're watching this on the DVDs. Although if you're in the UK, you can watch it on the BBC iPlayer. I think it should sync up if you're watching this on HBO Max. And hopefully it'll all sync up. You can watch it or not, or you can just watch the edited version like you're already doing. So either way, we do encourage you to come back towards the later part after the reaction, and we're going to do the discussion for this episode. But yeah, we got anything else?
It snowed this week here in central Oklahoma. We got about 2 or 3 inches here in the northern suburbs of Oklahoma City. Down south in down by the Red River part of the state, they got about 9 inches. Some of them even got 12 inches in localized spots. So pretty heavy snowfall in the southern plains here this week. And it's very cold.
I've been seeing people, kind of doom posting on Twitter, which I know stop the presses. That's crazy, but But people have been saying, like, man, 2025 is off to a horrible start. And, they'll list stuff like, the Palisade fires that are going on in Los Angeles, which are actually horrible and are a tragedy. But then they'll also put, and the South is frozen over and stuff. And, like, every Southerner will reply and be like, I mean, it's just winter. It's like, it's nothing out of the, like, if this was May, sure. If this was a different month, but it's January, it's going to snow.
The thing here is, when did it start snowing? Thursday?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah. But Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, the temperatures were in the upper 40s and low 50s. So all the surfaces, all the streets and the sidewalks and everything still absorbed that heat. So even though it snowed considerably, and there was an accumulation on lawns and on rooftops and things like that, by Thursday evening, everything was clear. So
it's just it doesn't last very long. And while we appreciate being part of the doom posting, and it's also the thing of, like, because with the Palisade fires, it's like that's all because of climate problems and everything and stuff, and it's like. And again, everyone that posted, people from like Texas or anywhere else, they were like, I agree that we should work on the environment and we should work on climate control. However, the snow is not part of that, but thank you for thinking of us anyway. It's just the thing of, like, it's very nice that people are thinking of the South during the winter, but at the same time, it's just the winter. It might snow one more time this winter, and then that'll be that. Yeah. So it's like a high of 46 today and sunny. So it's
going to be in the 50s again next week.
It's all going to be out of here pretty soon. So
that's Fahrenheit.
Yeah.
All right.
Anywho, now let's jump right into
Alias Smith and Jones.
Yeah,
that's an old TV series from the 60s or 70s.
Is it specifically Smith and Jones?
The series was called Alias Smith and Jones. It was kind of a parody or a copy, a ripoff of Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid.
I think the title specifically, some people told me, 8,000 years ago when I watched this episode, that might actually be a reference to that.
Oh.
So I don't know if the actual contents of the episode are, but at least the name was.
I'll be able to tell you, since I watched Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid, it's one of my favorite movies. I even did a college parody 20-minute spoof of it as an actor. I played the Butch Cassidy role. And I watched the TV series, and it didn't last very long. I think it was only on like 2 or 3 seasons. But it was fun. Free moment. Okay.
Yeah, by the way, Donna's not in this season. So every time you've been saying that, I've just like been looking at the camera like, well, he'll find out.
Lights on. See?
That is the Doctor Without Context. Anywho. I think it's the guy from Top Gear. Just sprayed black.
But Martha's a doctor.
Yeah.
Might be rather more colourful.
Oh no. This is getting out of hand, and now there are 2 of them.
That happened to me this morning.
I had the same thing on the door handle.
And me in the lift.
But it's only to be expected.
It's getting dry.
There's a thunderstorm moving in, and lightning is a form of static electricity, as was first proven by anyone?
Benjamin Franklin.
Correct.
My mate Ben, that was a day and a half. I got rope burns off that kite, and that was so.
Quite.
And then I got electrocuted.
That's slightly concerning.
Earthquake in London. I wonder if they've actually ever had an earthquake in London.
We're on the moon. Aren't we? We're on the moon.
I have dreams like this.
We're on the bloody moon.
Moon base. Where are the Cybermen? Of course, the lack of pressure in the lunar atmosphere would cause the windows to blow out.
But they're not exactly airtight. If the air was going to get sucked out, it would have happened straight away, but it didn't. So I can't...
Very good point. Brilliant. What was your name?
Martha?
And it was Jones, wasn't it? Well, Martha Jones. Question is, how are we still breathing?
Oh, you can't be.
Well, obviously we are, so don't waste my time. Martha, what have we got? Is there a balcony on this floor or a veranda?
Where the patient's lounge, yeah.
How's it going out?
Okay.
We might die.
We might not.
Good. Come on. Not her, she'd hold us up. Okay.
Yeah.
Sure?
Yeah.
Want to go back in?
No way. I mean, we could die any minute, but all the same, it's beautiful. How many people want to go to the moon? And here we are. Extraterrestrial. It's got to be. I don't know, a few years ago that would have sounded mad, but these days, that spaceship flying into Big Ben, Christmas, those Cybermen things. I had a cousin, Adiola. She worked at Canary Wharf. Aliens. That's aliens. Real proper aliens.
Jadoon.
Well, they got me! What the hell? They go!
You see, I was only salt deficient because I'm so very good at absorbing it. But now I need fire in my veins. And who better than a consultant? With blood full of salty fats and vintage wines and all those Michelin star sauces.
Who are you?
Oh, I'm a survivor, Mr. Stoker. At any cost. Look! I've even brought a straw.
Salt vampire.
I'm pretty sure that it was a plot of the original Star Trek.
Yeah.
Except this is somehow goofier because of the straw.
Well, they're ripped.
They're rhinos.
Fall down. Designation Earth English. You will be catalogued. Category human.
Yes, the great technology of a marker.
Making a catalogue, that means we're after something non-human, which is very bad news for me.
Why? Oh, you're kidding me. Don't be ridiculous. Stop looking at me like that.
You know he has two hearts.
Eh. Well, she knows he's weird. She couldn't quite identify it.
They've reached the third floor. What's that thing?
Sonic screwdriver.
What if you're not going to answer me properly?
No, it really is. It's a screwdriver and it's Sonic.
Eh. Yeah.
Killer!
Up, restore the backup.
I found her.
You did what?
What you said to Rose.
Eh.
When in doubt, use the operator's manual.
Eh. Yeah, it's the big button.
But isn't that going to kill you?
Nah, it's only Runken radiation. We used to play with Runken bricks in the nursery. It's safe for you to come out. I've absorbed it all.
Eh.
Here we go. Easy does it. Out! 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 Itches! 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 Oh! Hold on! Done.
You're completely mad.
You're right. I looked after one shoe.
Oh.
Barefoot on the moon.
My sonic screwdriver.
She was one of the patients, but
No, my sonic screwdriver.
she had this straw like some sort of
I
vampire.
love my sonic screwdriver.
Doctor?
Sorry.
Anyway.
You call me doctor.
Anyway, Miss Finnegan is the alien. She was drinking Mr. Stoker's blood.
Like Bram Stoker?
I think she'll be high.
I never thought about that.
Unless.
Haven't you got backup? You must have a partner or something.
Humans, we're stuck on the moon, running out of air with Jadoon and a blood-sucking criminal. You're asking personal questions. Come on.
I like that. Humans. Still not convinced you're an alien.
Non-human.
Oh my god, you really are?
And again.
Let's get out of here. They'll never get through that.
Forgive me for this. We could save 1,000 lives. It means nothing. Honestly, nothing.
Hello?
Wait.
That was nothing.
It's like Superman and Lois kiss.
Authorized full scan. What are you? What are you?
No, that's weird. You're talking like you're some sort of an alien.
Quite so.
No.
Oh, yes.
You're joshing me.
I am not.
I'm talking to an alien. In hospital.
Traces of facial contact with non-human. Continue the search. You will need this.
What's that for?
Compensation.
Thanks.
Can she not tell?
You drank his blood? The doctor's blood?
Oh, I don't mind. Scan all you like.
Non-human.
What?
Confirm analysis.
You fell for it, fool.
Confirm plasma ball. Charged with the crime of murdering the child princess of Petroval Regency 9.
Well, she deserved it. Those pink cheeks and those blonde curls and that slippery voice. She was begging for the bite of a plasma ball.
Then you confess.
Confess, I'm proud of it. Slap! Stop them!
All that leather.
You're gonna burn with me. Burn in hell!
Case closed.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3.
You gotta do it to the rhythm of staying alive.
Forcing something metal into it that should explode it.
Yeah.
Been in one of those many times.
Just unplug it.
It's raining on the moon.
Fits like a Lego. Thank God no one was down there. Or anything.
I mean, what really happened? Where were you?
Eyewitness reports from the Royal Hope Hospital continue to pour in.
But who did she see outside
This from medical student Oliver.
that the doctor said wasn't him?
I've been to the moon as if they were drugged. It sits up in the news.
Since when did you watch the news? You can't handle Quizmania.
Annalise started it.
This is me putting my foot down.
25 years. Why stop now?
Mom, don't. I asked the teacher if he's playing that song, ladies.
Wanna get out of here?
Went to the moon today.
Bit more peaceful than down here.
You never even told me who you are.
The doctor.
What sort of species? It's not every day I get to ask that.
I'm a Time Lord.
Right. Not pompous at all, then.
Like so.
But hold on, if you could see me this morning, why didn't you tell me not to go into work?
Crossing into established events is strictly forbidden. Except for cheap tricks.
Yeah.
Take it out.
But it's just a box. It's bigger on the inside.
Is it? I noticed.
Never gets old.
You're the one that kissed me.
That was a genetic transfer.
And if you will wear a tight suit
Now, don't.
and then travel all the way across the universe just to ask me a date,
Stop it.
for the record, I'm not remotely interested. I only go for humans.
Well, he is half human, according to number 8.
Right.
Welcome aboard, Miss Jones.
It's my pleasure, Mr. Smith.
Alrighty.
I think the reference to Alias Smith and Jones is when they meet, they basically say we have to go find some aliases. They introduce themselves as Smith and Jones. And in the original Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid, after they've taken on those identities, they get a job helping to guard some gold coming down from the mountains in Bolivia. And the boss yells at them, "Hey, Jones." And they look at each other and goes, "Which one am I? Am I Smith or am I Jones?" The other one just says, live a little.
Alrighty. Well, that is the introduction of Martha as the companion.
Uh-huh. So, I would like to know, what was the reaction of the fandom to the fact that Donna was only in one episode?
I don't know. I mean, because it wasn't like... I mean, it wasn't like it was said, like, oh, well, Donna will be back sometime. It's just, she was just kind of a one-off companion. I never really heard anything bad about the last episode, so... Yeah, she's just in the Christmas special, now we'd move on.
That just seems very odd.
Well, I'm sure it was just just bring her in as a guest star, and then when they needed another companion, maybe they went back to her, or she came back to them, or something like that.
All right, now, the actress that played Donna, was she a well-known actress in Great Britain?
I think she was a well-known comedy actor.
Okay.
And I think, like, there's like a famous, from one of the British skit shows, I think, where, like, David Tennant plays, like, the English teacher, and she plays she plays a student, and it's just back and forth, and it's all good and funny.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's I mean, I don't know. The comments will fill in more of that.
All right.
I don't know much of that. They didn't tell me the first time around because I didn't know Donna was going to come back the first time around. Yeah. So,
all right, and again, not having seen them before, but I have heard that the Judoon come back.
Yeah, they end up as a
13th Doctor,
somewhere around there. Yeah, they apparently when Davis was writing this episode, he realized that David Tennant has a difficulty saying anything with "oon" in the word because it conflicts with him being Scottish. So, and obviously he's doing the English accent instead of his normal Scottish accent, but because of that, they just decided, well, that's just hilarious then. A platoon of Judoon on the moon. So they intentionally wrote this episode to mess with him. What do you think of Martha from her first episode?
I like her a lot. Again, highly intelligent. She's going to be a doctor. Probably since what was the young girl? Was it Vicky who had the multiple PhDs? Was that
Zoe.
Zoe.
Yeah.
So probably not since Zoe or Barbara or Romana, I guess.
Romana, Nissa, yeah.
Yeah. So, just somebody who is very intelligent, very quick-witted, obviously can, fill in as not just a, damsel in distress, but somebody who can actually get to be part of the action. Yeah, I like her a lot. And the fact that, again, that she's got all this stress, the fact that she can come back to the same time that she left, theoretically speaking.
Yeah, in theory. They tried that before.
Yes, and it didn't work. Got her back a year later.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, now, I also like the fact that in this episode they acknowledged the Slitheen crashing the spaceship, or whatever the spaceship crashing into Big Ben. And they acknowledged the Cybermen. And so they finally, really for one of the very first times that I can remember, acknowledged continuity-wise that something that happened in previous episodes is now part of the history of Great Britain.
Yeah, it's an interesting thing that now, as we're going on, it's more of a thing of, well, I guess if you're not there, it's hard to believe, but there are people that believe in this stuff. Now, granted, Cybermen in every home is, that's what he said last time, and, and Donna replied, well, I was in Spain. Well, there were Cybermen in Spain, but yeah, it's just, it's an interesting thing, though. You see, like, at the end, Annalise was like, oh, well, clearly they were drugged or something. They didn't go to the moon. And it's just like, even if they were drugged, a hospital went missing for like 4 hours or something. So,
and January 6th was just a tourist visit.
Yeah, so it's just...
Sorry, but I mean, seriously.
But on that, though, can't you just see people nowadays, when there's complete proof that aliens, like, land and show up and, like, shake hands with the presidents? Like, wouldn't you see people on... I mean, you're not on Twitter, but on Twitter and on these places be like, wow, that didn't actually happen. It was all a publicity stunt. It's like...
Oh, yeah, they filmed the moon landing out in southern New Mexico.
I love the joke that... Because I think one of the theories is that Stanley Kubrick filmed the moon landing. Yeah. And the joke is, yes, but he's such a great director that he demanded to shoot on location. So...
Yeah, I think I had heard that.
Yeah. I remember there was one time, and it ties into Stanley Kubrick, because this was like a weird documentary about The Shining, and it was mainly conspiracy theories about The Shining. And there was one of them where it was just this guy, pretty normal looking dude, and he was just like, no, I fully believe that we went to the moon when we did. I just don't think we had the technology capable of filming it and sending it back to the televisions of Earth. So it's just a weird thing of like, well, it's like a half and half theory. It's like, it's not too far out there.
All right. Having witnessed that live on television on what would have been June or July 21st of 1969, that was the grainiest black and white.
Yeah.
So, now, the films that they actually took on the moon and then brought back and then showed on television are absolutely crystal clear. But yeah, the actual live broadcast was you would go, my fourth grader could have done better than that.
Yeah, so it is just kind of funny, just sort of that half and half theory. But I like that they kind of they started doing that with Doctor Who, where it's like, especially recently, like in basically the past year, it's just been, the spaceship hitting Big Ben, which in that episode they chalk up as a hoax at the end. We've had Daleks, we've had Cybermen, we've had multiple things happening on Christmas, and it's just like, it's more mounting evidence, and if you're not a complete idiot, you might actually believe in that stuff.
How do you explain the Thames running dry?
Yeah, it's just... And that giant star that was above London blasting everything, and the military shot down out of the sky, and there would be damage and everything, and there's no more Torchwood to clean that up, so...
Oh, and just another little side note here. In southwestern New Mexico, it's along Interstate 10, if I recall correctly, there is actually a county called Luna County in New Mexico. And it is basically called that because it really does look like a moonscape. I will say this, though, having lived in southern Arizona for many, many years, that desert is shifting sand. It is not rock. Now, you get up into northern Arizona, up around Flagstaff and the Meteor Crater, which we've been to a couple of times. Yes, you do see that kind of formations in, it would be literally the foothills of the Rocky Mountains there in southern Colorado and southern Utah and northern Arizona and northern New Mexico. But there's literally no place anywhere on the in the southwestern United States or anywhere else that I can think of that can give you a moonscape that's completely devoid of vegetation, that there's literally no sand or anything. So the faking of the moon landing is literally more incredible than the actual moon landing itself.
Yeah. So, and we even saw on Torchwood there was another of those people that don't believe in the aliens because they mention Gwen mentioned like her boyfriend says like, oh yeah, it's something they put psychedelics in the water, that's we see Cybermen and stuff, and it's just like, yeah, well, that's stupid. So so it's an interesting thing that they're starting to do. It's like, yeah, it's hard to deny with all these alien attacks and stuff. Yeah. So but yeah, and we also had the Jadoon, a very interesting group of characters, I guess. Just a very good like prosthetic, just a look for them. Just the fact that they're rhino men is very interesting.
Now that to me begs the question, and I could probably look this up. Were those actual prosthetics, or was that done later with CGI? Because the movement of the mouth, although it did not match the words exactly, was at least very realistic looking. So I would be interested to know if they actually had prosthetic heads where somebody was working a little, switch controller or something to make the mouth move, or if that was all just CGI.
I mean, considering only one of them, you only see one of them. The rest of them keep their helmets on the whole time. So the leader is the only one you see the face. I think, though, it would be... Because the only time he's really talking, it's always in like a close-up shot of the mouth specifically. So I think it would probably just be all animatronics in there. Yeah. So, but yeah. But the Jadoon are a police force for hire, which is interesting, trying to find the murderer of the... whatever they said, the child princess of the
Regency or something.
Yeah. And then that gives us our villain. I do like that it's just like, I mean, there's no reason to believe that she has a form any different, but it's like, it's like, okay, we're going to have a quote-unquote vampire in this story. We've seen vampires in Doctor Who, actually. That was a 4th Doctor episode where we had some vampires. And it's just like, none of that. None of the classic look. No Bela Lugosi, no Nosferatu, none of that. It's just a little old British lady with a straw. That's a vampire. But it works. So, and she was really good as a villain. So,
yeah. And again, I thought it was interesting that the hospital administrator was named Stoker. It would have made more sense to have her as Mrs. Stoker. If you're going to, throw in a casual reference like that, you ought to make it, to the actual villain, in my opinion.
Oh, yeah. So, I don't know. Maybe I would love to see an edit of like the newest Nosferatu movie, but you just edit out Count Orlok and you just put her in instead. That'd just probably be way funnier. So, and then just everything with Martha and the Doctor, they work very well together right off the bat. I think this is the first time we see the Doctor's blue suit. I don't think we've seen it before in the episodes that we've seen. So it's interesting him changing it up a bit.
Was it always brown before?
I think so. He always has the brown, the pinstripe suit. Yeah. So today was the first time he wore the blue one.
And you don't have to tell me this, but the young male doctor, the one who was trying to defend everybody and at the end said, we did everything it struck me that he had enough screen time that they were maybe hinting, is he going to be popular enough to take both Martha and him as companions?
No. Okay. But, I mean, the main problem with that is that there were just no interactions with him. Yeah. So, he was just dealing with the Jadoon the best he could.
Yeah.
But yeah, and then I do like at the beginning when it's just like, the doctor is kind of giving her these questions, and she's ticking off all the boxes, like she could work as a companion, and they go, it's like, all right, let's go see what's going on with the air. Not her though, she'll slow us down. And it's just like, you really have to be a certain type of person to walk with him. So I guess that's pretty much it. And then just at the end we had the chaos of the Jones family, and the doctor very helpfully just getting Martha away from all of that. So
now the rather bumpy takeoff, is that a setup for whatever the next episode is? Because they don't usually, it doesn't usually take off that badly.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know, it just sort of happened like that. I don't know, I don't think that leads in really to the next episode. It's just sometimes, the TARDIS is just like an old car. Sometimes it's fine, sometimes it's not. So, and it is interesting. We also get, like with last episode, we get that sort of reminder of Rose is gone, and that does weigh on the Doctor.
Yeah.
And this does kind of give us something that's debated within the fandom is, should the Doctor be holding on to Rose like that? Like, in the past, mainly because he's never done that before, with every companion, maybe there'll be a bit of a heartfelt goodbye. They go, he moves on. Like, this is the first time he's not fully moving on.
The difference may be, didn't she literally save his life when he was still the Ninth Doctor?
I mean, that is one of the arguments for it, that it's like, before Rose, he was, coming out of the Time War, everything had gone to hell, and he had lost his people, and this is the first companion that he has after all of that. So it allows him to be the Doctor again, basically, that companionship with her. So,
and Pertwee, when he had to say goodbye to Joe, was it Joe that one that got married?
Yeah.
He was pretty broken up about that, but I don't think there was ever going to be a relationship between them, because he was obviously, even though he's actually 900 years old, but he was obviously 20 or 30 years older than she was. But yeah, that was a very hard decision for him to let her go.
Yeah. But that is, it's one of the things just talked about, like, should he be bringing up Rose and stuff like that to Martha, who is completely new to all of this,
Yeah.
It took her a while to just accept that he's an alien, Oh, and I forgot to mention, but she said that she had a cousin who was at Canary Wharf, and you remember the woman who was taken over by the Cybermen in the last episode of season 2 and had the things in her ears. It's the same actress as Martha, so that's how they kind of get around that. It's like, well, she's the same actress, but she played that character. It's like, well, it's a cousin. Cousins, they look identical.
I have to say, your cousin Cody, as we have pointed out, who lives in Arkansas, is a great cross between you and your brother. But his mother looks very much like your mother.
Well, yeah. So, I don't know. Let us know in the comments. Do you have cousins that look exactly like you?
Now, I didn't have a cousin that looked like me, but I did have a cousin who was born on the same day, literally at the same time. The only difference was I was born in the Eastern time zone, and she was born in the Central time zone. But yeah, we were not identical cousins, but literally born at precisely the same time, on the same day.
Yeah. So, well, I guess that's it. That's the first episode of the season, and you got anything else?
I got nothing.
then that is basically it. With all of that being said, we're Alex and Dad from 7th Hour Films, and we will see you guys next time. Take care. Alright guys, thanks for watching this video. There's a bunch of links on screen if you want to go click around any of those. There's a playlist with all of our modern Doctor Who reactions, as well as another playlist for every Doctor Who reaction that's on the channel. There's also a subscribe button and a Patreon button on screen, as well as other links in the description if you want to go check out any of those. See you guys later.